What up, y'all? It's your boy Martine, aka the Boxing Purist. Welcome once again to the Truth and Absolute channel, where I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me, good God Almighty. Okay, y'all. So it is fight week. My boxing purists, my boxing fans, my boxing family. We have been waiting for this fight for what, 5 years? Or something like that. We've been waiting a minute because this fight, although, I got to keep it real, it's a little overdue, right? I mean, Errol Spence JR, Terrance Crawford, they're both at a very, very high level, but it's not bad to say that it's a little past due. We can't say that they're both in their physical prime anymore. Nonetheless, because of the level that they're at, we're still anticipating a great classic fight. This is one of those throwback fights, in my opinion. One of those throwback fights that it's a crazy event, yo. I'm excited for this. It has classic written all over it, okay? Now, in one corner, we got Bud. In the other, we got the truth. Something interesting about this fight, though. There's something interesting. Now, a lot of y'all may disagree, but this is just how I see it, how I follow the sport. This is what I've seen throughout the years. It was very obvious for a long time that Bud wanted this fight, right? Bud was pushing for this fight for a very long time. For a long time, it seemed that Spence didn't want the fight. It seemed like he didn't. There's videos, if you go on YouTube, from years and years back when Bud ran up on Spence. I think it was at a fight or something. And Spence wasn't necessarily scared of Bud, but you could see that there was a little intimidation factor going on in there on Spence's side. I'm not sure what it was. They were both a little younger at the time, but Spence was just a little bit uncomfortable with Bud around. Second thing that I remember, at the Sean Porter fight when it was Crawford versus Porter, for whatever reason, Spence walked out of the arena as soon as Crawford stopped Sean Porter in that ring. He made this face, he walked out before anything could happen. It was weird, right? After the Ugas fight, yeah, he's like, I want Terrance Crawford. Everyone knows I want Terrance Crawford. But this is the thing about it. I don't feel like he did for many years. I don't think that he wanted the Crawford fight. Now, all of a sudden, he jumped all over it. Now he's talking big. Now he's talking like a big dog, like he's been trying to make this fight happen. Now, me and you don't know what happens behind closed doors when it comes to the boxing business. We're not the promoters. We're not their advisors. We're not the ones putting the money for this. So who knows? From the outside looking in, it seemed like Spence didn't truly want this fight for a long time. We know Bud been wanting this fight for a long time. He's been very vocal about it. He's been trying to make it happen. Again, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Anyhow, so drum roll. Official prediction for the fight. So, I'm going to talk about the advantages and disadvantages for each fighter for a quick minute. Let's go ahead and say that Spence has been a part of bigger events than Terrance Crawford, right? They both had very similar careers. You can make an argument that Spence has bigger names under his resume than Crawford does. But again, part of the events. I want to say Spence has been a part of the bigger events when it comes to this here boxing event more than Crawford. So I'm going to give the experience on that level to Spence. Size. Spence is looking... drained is the wrong word because I know Spence is putting in the work. I know that he has a nutritionist feeding him the right way. It just seems that he kind of looks unhealthy in the face cutting this much weight. I'm not sure exactly what Spence walks around at. I mean, it's looking like somewhere like 180 or something, fighting at 47. But you can see that as he gets older, he's having a harder and harder time making the weight. So naturally, it's not hard to see that Spence is the bigger fighter. I don't know if there's a rehydration clause for this fight. They didn't put that info out. But long story short, Spence is the bigger guy inside that ring. Now, better boxer. Spence is a good boxer. Really good boxer, but Terrance Crawford is a great boxer. He could switch it up inside that ring. He could set traps for you. He could hit you with these laser shots that you did not see coming, and he could set up shots over time, and he could make adjustments. right? So I'm going to say that Terrance Crawford is the better boxer, better defense. I'm going to go ahead and say again, Terrance Crawford is a better defensive fighter than Errol Spence. Now, although in the last couple of fights, Spence has shown a lot better defense, he does take punishment inside that ring. He's been in some wars inside that ring. He gets caught. Every fighter gets caught. Me, myself, when we're talking about great fighters, I think about how often they've been touched, right? So I'm going to give that edge to Terrance Crawford. Experience-wise, I feel like Spence did get into an accident that kept him out the ring for a little bit. And Terrance Crawford, towards the end there, wasn't landing a lot of fights. He was trying to stay busy. The opposition he was finding wasn't the absolute greatest, but he was staying somewhat busy nonetheless. So I think in this fight, the bell's going to go ding. We're going to sing the national anthem, all that. I think in the early rounds, Spence is going to get off to a fast start. I think that Spence is going to try to get off to a fast start just to kind of set the tone for the fight, set the pace. I think in that time, maybe the first 3 rounds, 4 rounds, he's going to try to rough Crawford up. And at the same time, he's going to try to beat Crawford at his own game. And what I mean by that, he's going to try to outbox Crawford in a sense. He's going to try to make it seem like, yo, Crawford, not only am I bigger, not only do I got size on you, and not only could I body you, but I could also play chess with you in here. That's how I think it's going to happen for the first 3, maybe 4 rounds. I think after that, because we know Crawford at times could be a slow starter, if you guys go back to the Gamboa fight, I believe Crawford was the first guy to beat Gamboa. At that time, Gamboa was undefeated and a boxing monster. A monster at that time. It looked like in that fight like he was going to cruise against Crawford. Crawford's changed up the style. He switched it to southpaw, and he ended up, I believe he stopped Gamboa. So I feel like in this fight, Spence is going to use his advantages early on, but going into the later rounds, I think Crawford is going to put it on him. I think that he'll eventually hurt Spence in the fight. Later in the fight, I think he'll hurt Spence, possibly drop him. I don't see Crawford getting dropped just because he's so smart inside that ring. I don't see him putting himself in harm's way in that way. So I think that Crawford is going to win by decision, unanimous decision at the end, with Spence being hurt later on. But I think he survives the fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. I don't think it's going to be a wipeout on anyone's side, to be honest with you guys. Nonetheless, I think that we're up for a classic nail-biter, bite your lip type of fight. So that's my take on it. I'm taking Crawford to win, not knocking any fighter. So let me know who you guys think is going to win. Drop a comment down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button or the dislike button. It's all love. But yo, drop a comment down below. Let's talk about this fight. Much love. God bless y'all. Peace.